Uh, in my own
Go on.
opinion, I think I have a question, but which I think would infer my choice of which one I think I would choose from. So I was
Okay.
thinking like, what? Then I've seen it, or someone stated this evening about like pictures of angels in black in white faces, or so there's this comparison, angels white or black. For me, I've read somewhere that they are made of light, but I'm not sure how true that is. So I think that could make me to choose the choice of the first Lord.
Okay. Um, did I let me be sure that I heard you correctly? Did you say you saw on someone's status about the fact that angels are white, demons are black?
Yeah,
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 and you're
stuff
wondering
like
if that is a racial agenda behind that, right?
because I've read somewhere that angels are made of light. So if
Okay.
that's true, then I'm don't know where the issue of white and black fit into the whole scenario or
No,
something.
but to be honest, have you not noticed that if you are watching Nigerian films and they want to depict angels, they depict them in white, and they want to depict Satan and his
Demons
cohorts,
and black.
they
Yeah.
depict them in black. And the question then comes indeed, I mean, it's a legitimate question. Who says angels are white and demons are black? But I mean, this is just my opinion, and anybody could share a different opinion. But I think indeed there is a part of us that there's a part of us that has been made to unconsciously, or maybe by virtue of, I mean, that's why they use the word systemic. It's been ingrained into our colonial mindsets, or colonial heritage rather, to just believe that anything white, the Yorubas will say Unyibo or whatever, is better, is superior. And it's gone on consciously or unconsciously into our depictions of things. Because I have honestly asked the same question. I was still saying this to Anu yesterday, that who actually thought of that? Who came up with the idea that the devil should be associated with black and God or angels and stuff should be associated with white? It's There is nothing that specifically gives us that clue from the scriptures. Of course, we know that we speak of darkness generally in terms of the devil is a servant of darkness. Is why the angels are servants of light, ministering spirits, right? So I mean, one can come from that perspective and say, okay, light, white, darkness, black. But indeed, there is more that is going on in that sense than just that. For instance, the Yoruba word for Africa is Ile Adulawo. That simply means the land of people that are black skinned. But it's not everybody that is in Africa that is black skinned. So where did we come up with that's the best interpretation or translation for Africa? I don't understand. I don't know. So there seems to be behind all of these things something that came off of a colonial heritage whereby the colonial masters, of course, their agenda was clear. They wanted us to believe that they know better, they are better. They brought religion and totally discarded whatever it is that our forefathers were doing. As that's just to be a Christian, basically, back then, for instance. To be a Christian is for you to stop being, in the fullest sense of the word, who you were before becoming a Christian. So you have to you have to divorce, in a sense, your heritage. You have to divorce many of the things that you would do as simply as your cultural experience to embrace this new life, oftentimes backed up with a change of name to an English name, which we call a baptismal name, and all of that. It's all in an attempt to make us feel like whatever it is that we were doing and whoever it is that we were, and of course, I'm not saying we, but our forefathers, whoever it is that they were, is totally, is less than human. And they use very strange words for them: heathens, animists. In other words, people that worship inanimate objects and things like that. I mean, they use all sorts of derogatory words to make them in literature, and there are still many books that has all those words till now. So perhaps, I don't know, but in my opinion, I think there is something deeper, bigger, that has made us embrace a new normal that we should actually question, especially for our own generation. I don't know how many of us can fluently speak and still read our mother tongue. And so, for instance, I'm Yoruba. I don't know how many people my age can actually take a Yoruba literature and read it effortlessly. Whereas the better you are able to read English, the more you feel like you are getting there. Where did that come from? So those are the kind of things that I've been processing and trying to think through personally. Does anybody want to share more on that, on what Henry asked? Ife, it looks like you want to say something. You are pregnant, but you don't know where to start.
I actually don't know what to say because too many stuff. Some like this is just one example. I was talking about one yesterday about equality, like gender equality. It started from somewhere, and now I think it's changing. It's not like because I read the history. It's not based on work only again. It's based on different things now, marriages, everything. So things are changing. Just think is people are passing things on, and if some people don't pass the right thing, this particular, for example, the gender equality stuff now, they will keep passing the wrong information continuously like that if things don't get to change in one way or the other. I don't know how, but they'll keep passing it to other generations because now, because of this gender equality, marriages are breaking, too many things are happening. So I think it's just people changing the history, changing the main reason why something started and putting it into another form. And I think it keeps going like that until something else changes it.
And the interesting thing is, for every generation that you pass something on to, they take it to another level.
Thank you.
And that becomes the benchmark or the new norm for the next generation. And those ones too will take that further, turn it into something else, and it just keeps going. One of the most interesting lines that I've heard in the last 1 week, especially about racism and racial justice, is the fact that racism never ends. It simply adapts. In other words, in every generation, there is a form of racial injustice that is going on, and it just kind of adapts itself to the context of the times, to the demands of or what the social climate looks like for that time or that season, as it were. Okay, Sister Anu came to our screen, and I assumed she wanted to say something.
Pastor.
Okay, yeah, Tosin.
I'm not actually contributing. I just want to pick up from what Ife said.
All right.
What's your take on absolute gender equality?
What does absolute gender equality mean to you, Tosin?
It just means uneven kill, like everybody equal in all ramifications, every way of life. Equal. Yeah.
Okay, Sister Ife, they said, what's your take on that, personally?
I'm actually asking you, Pastor.
Oh, myself?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not a woman. I was going to dodge that. What's my...
You're in the position not to be partial. So
Sister Anu, do you want to talk now so that I can tie it up after you have spoken?
If you are just had shower, so.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's okay.
It's fine. I can talk. I can.
All right.
Multitask. What do you want to talk about?
we were talking about racism, and then Ife also chipped in something about gender equality.
Okay.
So Tosin is wondering what For now, let me say what your take is on absolute gender equality in terms of men and women are equal in every right, in every respect. How would you process that? What's your thoughts about that?
Expertise. That would mean basically for me, it would mean the same paying jobs for men and women, even though it's not as obvious, but it's happening when men are paid higher than women, and also the same job opportunities. Say for example, if a big company is interviewing people for jobs, and you go there and you tell them you're a mother, you're married, or you're nearly married or something similar, you get it's easier for you to be chosen. For you not to be chosen for the job. And if there's a single man or even a married man, he'll be chosen because obviously a young married man will soon get pregnant, would have lots of other things happening and be closing for work earlier than usual. But men can put in their work if they're single. So I would like to see that. That would be absolute. I'd also like to see, like, in politics, the same number of men and women sitting in the house. They do say, oh yeah, it's open for women, but it's not. It's
Why
not
is it
as
not?
Because of the play of power. Say, for example, there's just a way where the things that the books I've read about women in power, how that they had to strive against their male counterparts, like Joshua. Like snide remarks at workplace, things like, oh, it's just Joshua, please stop. Yes, I think I've finished. But that absolutely just be. The woman should not just be patted at the back and rubbed on the head like, oh, are you sure you can do it, darling? And they stop calling us darling at place of work, sweetheart, or things like that.
But essentially, I mean, this is you explaining what absolute equality would look like. So essentially, that goes to mean that you actually believe that men and women should be equal. Absolutely.
Oh, no.
Because I think that's actually Tosin's question.
I mean, is that? No. No, equality and being equal is different.
Oh, okay.
Equality is like a movement. Being equal is just some things that can't be done. We can't be equal because we're not the same people.
All right.
Yeah, I think equality is more of a...
I accept. It's true. Like, the way things are now, everybody feel, oh, men and women, they're equal, and that's it. But that's not it. That's not the history. I have to go back to read it, read about, like, how did they start? And it was just all about the fact that women, back in those days, men were farming, and women, they were doing domestic work at home. Cleaning, doing all what we call domestic work now. But later on, industrialization came into place. Men, because they are strong, they started working in industries, But now, because you can now buy food easily in the shops, like cooked food. So women were not actually doing a lot at home again. They were just cooking, not really cooking, but they were just taking care of children. That was what it says. It said now women were taking care of children. That was the only thing they could do. They don't necessarily need to cook again. So later on, they had to, like say, we want to work. We don't just want to be at home, taking care of children. We are bored. And they had to go out to start speaking out. Before, they didn't have right to vote. Then they they allowed them to start voting. They allowed them to start working. They're like, okay, equal payment at work as well, because they were not paying them the same rate and they were doing the same job. So this was what it was all about. Not, oh, we are equal at home, or we are equal as per you're a man, I'm a woman. We're equal in everything.
Okay.
It's not about that. It's just about work.
That makes sense. Go on.
position or something, like, sorry, work, I mean, not position. Yeah. Before I say position now, they say, do you mean position at home as well? But things are changing. Women now, like, equality, even at home, equality. Oh, you have to do this because you're the husband. You have to do this. We are equal. And things are getting
out of hand.
It's getting out of hand.
Understandably so. I mean, thank God we went from two. Yeah, go on, Kingsley.
I want to ask Sister Anu.
Okay.
Sister Anu, Mommy Anu, where are you?
She will come, I know. She likes that one.
My question is simple. What did Jesus say about feminism?
Did he mention feminism in the Bible? I'm not sure I saw that.
No, but in the Bible says in Genesis chapter 1, God created man and woman.
Yeah.
Then in chapter 2, he made them male and female.
Yeah.
And he said that the woman will be a helpmate to the man. So how does that contradict feminism? Does that contradict feminism or not?
No, okay, I didn't hear the Genesis thing before, sorry.
So Genesis chapter 1, God created male and female. And then you graduate to chapter 2, and he said, God created man, and then chapter 2, God created a male and female. And then he said that a woman is like a helpmate to the man, because the man was doing virtually everything and God was providing. Now, does that contradict your perception, your concept of feminism, or is it aligning with your concept of feminism?
It's I don't know if it aligns, but it doesn't contradict it. Okay, for the helpmate one, the chapter 2 is to my husband. I don't have to be a helpmate to my male boss or my male counterpart. If I'm doing the same work as him, I'm not his helpmate. I am my husband's helpmate. But I see what you mean. Feminism, I was talking to my husband about it, doesn't really apply at home, because the instruction we live by is that submit to your husband. So that rules out any other movement you want to move. It's possibly your head. So I was telling him that my feminism is not as loud at home because I can't actually say anything, but use wisdom to kind of try and win points in a sense. But outside of home, like you first said, it's actually right. It's not about whether I can never be equal to you, Kingsley. The endurance you have, I can't match it. The way you think logically, I can't match it. The way you think, you will be thinking more logically. I would have thought with my emotions and feel, oh, she looked at me one kind. But you would have gotten the job done quick and fast. You guys are like that. So we can't match that. We have our own special traits. But in the sense of opportunities and it's just being there in the world. You see, okay, say for example, we go to work as mothers, or even as single women, we go to work with all the baggage we have, and being in your workplace and being spoken to derogatorily, because of your womanness. It's not crazy, but it's a bit crazy, and that's what makes women want to fight and talk like, oh, we need our stand. Say for example, if you have a daughter and she's putting in as much work as say, I forgot his name, as Dr. Kenneth. No, I'll go look. Dr. Henry. Dr. Henry's son, they're in the same company. Your daughter is working the same way his son is working. She's earning 25,000 per year. His son is earning 35 for the same job. It's that disparity that made the movement and that made women now come out and say, oh, we want to have the same pay. Before, we're not allowed to vote for the leaders that would rule us. Some women actually chose. Sorry.
Can I ask you one question? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you said you made a point at the top. Now I've worked in factories, and I go to a factory. And then women are made to carry the heavy things, and the women are just standing there and picking things. You go to hospitality sector, if you are working, women are just to we are fronting the women to go and smile to the customers, why the men are carrying the big crates of beer from one point to another. And what happens at the end of the day? We are paid the same £8.20. Is that being fair? Because I come home with pains all over my muscles, and the woman is having nothing. So,
don't you know it hurts to smile? For real. Don't smile quickly for 5 minutes. Your cheeks hurt. I'm joking. I know what you mean, but yeah, I see what you mean. It's not fair, honestly, if you think about it. It's just in a bit, we women, we think emotional, like I said. I think the whole movement is also about our emotions, just wanting us to make ourselves feel better. Because whether they raise our pay or they don't raise our pay, whether we can vote or not, there will still be something we're not equal to. And we can never ever be equal, but just to appease that we are there-ness. That's the whole movement. If you read even the most hardened people, the most hardened feminism is just to have their voice heard. That's all. And women, even like when you're married, you know how I don't know if nature does it. If she wants to make a point, the way she will say it and say it and say it until you say, okay, I've heard you. And the men, God help them. The men they're letting us do it because let's do it just so you can have peace of mind. Everything that they're saying, pensions. I think before women, for pension, the age of women, I think the age when men was 60, you can retire at 60, while women are 65. It was just a few years ago that they changed that. It doesn't make any difference. I'm not saying this as feminism. Please don't put this out on social media. To the herd. And let's go. I'm still going to go back to my husband and greet him with my knees bent in the morning carousel. And I can't say that on Facebook and I'm doing that, or asking him for whether I can buy tomatoes or pepper. I can't go and say that on Facebook. But if they say feminism on Facebook, I'm like, yeah, that's not right. We should do more. But at all, I'm subservient. So it's just what it is, basically.
You just said it the way I want. Feminism, the movement feminism, the way I understand it, I agree to an extent to it. But I still feel like it's kind of one-sided because you're talking about the top, the politicians, the House of Assemblies, the parliament houses, that they are not being represented very well. But if you check the under as well, you find out that if you go to minimum wage jobs, if you go to house agencies, they are all being occupied by ladies. The house agencies are occupied by ladies, your managers and everything, they are all occupied by ladies and all that. But with what you're saying, I feel like people should need to, because this feminism thing is going into marriages and it's not what God planted it to be. You get what I mean? So feminism movement is good, but you should know that in as much as you're pushing feminism, your family, there is no equality. You are under the man in your family, no matter how you try to put it. You understand what I mean? So that's why sometimes I try to query some of the movement because a lot of people don't understand it. You get what I mean? If you go to work, if I go to a factory job, okay, I have an instance and I'll stop. I went to work and I wanted to carry something. I saw a lady carrying it. I was like, oh, no. Let me get another guy to carry it. The girl was like, why are you being sexist? I was like, which one is sexist again? I had to learn a new word, sexist. You understand? So since then, I stopped caring about. So if it's a lady standing there, I'll tell you, put your hand, let's carry it. We are paid the same thing. You understand what I mean? So sure. I feel like in as much as they have to be equal, but the output from a man cannot be compared to output from a woman. Forget the fact that we have damaged men of our generation. Most men in our generation are damaged, but the output from ab initio, what God wanted, is not
no
the
argument.
You
can't argue it.
With what we have.
Well supported.
Now we have men that are not. Our men are now having. We have a lot of people that are not qualified to be men, but they just grew up to be men. You get what I mean? That's why you have rapists. You have all sorts of things as men now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kingsley. And welcome on board to Mayowa. I have to leave in 2 minutes or 1. So I would say a couple of things and then I'll pop out. I know Tosin wants to say something too. Ife, you're on a computer, right?
No.
You're using your phone. Who is using a
Yes.
computer screen that can see everybody at the same time? I want to transfer the host to someone else so that when I'm going, the person can control if anybody needs to be muted. All right. Okay. So, Oga Henry, I'm making you the host.
What's my responsibility?
So that's done now. I mean, that's just for administrative thing. If you need to do anything, you can see everybody from the gallery view and do and undo.
Okay.
I'll just drop my thoughts so that I have to join another meeting now. And I like everything everybody has said. I think it makes my job easier. And just to tie it together, the point is essentially in the sense of being created in the image of God, men and women are equal. We are all individuals. We are all human beings. But again, when it comes to the roles, the functions, there are certain roles and functions that are unique to men. There are certain roles and functions that are unique to women. I like where Kingsley came from in the Genesis 2 context, for instance, where it was specifically said that Eve is made to be a helpmeet to Adam. And of course, that's not just in the context of everywhere. It's specifically in the marriage context, in the home context, if you will. But again, we easily pick on that and take that out of context to mean, yeah, they are helpmates, so they are like our helpers and we can just do and undo. But the interesting thing about that word actually is that same word is used for God himself in very many verses, about 10 verses that I have found myself, where God himself is referred to as our helper, the same word. So, and of course, when God says he's your helper, he's not saying he's your helper because you are stronger than him. Is actually your helper because he's stronger than you, if you get what I mean. And so there is more to the women being helpmates than just being a subordinate, weaker vessel that we can just do anything we like with. It means so much more than that. If there's anything I'm grateful for today, is the fact that I'm married, and I'm married to a woman, not a man, because she's brought so much balance to my life. If I were to just be on my own, okay, the story would be different. But basically, there is a whole lot going on in that sense. But when we come to the society, when it comes to how people view us, how people relate us, how people relate with us, how people treat us, I believe we should be treated essentially as human beings, irrespective of our gender. Paul was saying in Galatians 3, there are no Jews or Gentiles, there are no males or females, for we are all one in Christ. In other words, all those stratifications go out of the window. More so when you're a believer, when you're a child of God, your life matter, whether you're black or white, or all lives matter, all genders matter, all nationalities matter. All of those stratas and categories that we've created end up being what matters in one way or the other. So I just thought to chip all that in. So absolute equality doesn't exist in my own understanding, because we can be equal essentially in terms of being humans, but we can't be equal in terms of our roles, both at home and in the society, as we've explained in different ways. I'll take a bow now. Feel free to continue the discussion for us. I think I'm actually enjoying this. We started from racism, we diverged into gender equality and inequality, and we can end up wherever we want to end up. But my thoughts and prayers are with us. The Lord bless you all in Jesus' name. So me,
Amen.
I'm logging out.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye, sir.